Oh, son of a gun. You thought I was going to say son of a bitch, didn't you?
Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day.
No, excuse me. Hello, folks, and welcome to Last Man Standing. I'm Dan Hollifield, and unfortunately, this is the only Last Man Standing you're going to get this week because this weekend, when we would have had the Saturday night Stupid O'Clock, which will happen, and the Sunday morning Last Man Standing, which will not happen, I will be about 2 hours drive south of where I presently sit, attending a ceremony for honoring my little brother, who has just been elected the one of the grand poobahs for his Mason's Lodge. And the whole family going to be there. Everybody going to be dressed up. It's going to be one of those event things, and it's going to be hopefully everything will go right for my little brother, and wish him well. I don't have the slightest idea what his duties will involve or what any of this means, but he's worked really hard to achieve this honor, and I am damn proud to be there to stand in the background and go, way to go! And with that said, we've got Joe Botman and Aunt Donna with us already tonight. We might have Dawn later after she gets through eating supper because she has not eaten all day and she needs to. Want to keep that girl going. Love that sense of humor, I really do. And you never can tell who else might just pop in. Because several people have gotten the link as to where we are and when we are, and might just throw down the gauntlet and show up. Which is Not always as bad as it sounds. Let me say, we shall see. We shall see. Pictures or it didn't happen. Okay, I'm taking my phone. I'll take pictures. I'm not sure anybody will take a picture of me in a suit with the beard trimmed. And oh, tomorrow I've got to go get a haircut because the ponytail is not uh, mother approved, so it's got to go temporarily.
Oh, I'm sure Lindsay will take a picture of you.
One would hope. And I would take a picture of Lindsay because she's got a nice outfit picked out, or two nice outfits picked out, and she's going to look absolutely beautiful. Um, Now, what we got to do, Lindsay and I have to go through all the prep and everything tomorrow. The dog's got to go to the board to the border, not run for the border, but the place where we board the dog when we take a vacation. Let me make that perfectly clear. Um, and that would be Saturday morning. My mom wants to leave at the last minute. I may be driving. It's either me going to be driving or my brother-in-law going to be driving my mother's Yukon. I've never driven my mother's Yukon. It's only got like 10,000 horsepower. And I've got to somehow keep this thing under a speed limit that would get us arrested to drive 2 hours from here to Macon. And my little brother just sent me a little while ago the street address of the hotel so I can punch it in the GPS. And thank you, Timothy. That will make it much simpler. So doesn't matter if I'm driving or my brother-in-law is driving. We definitely don't want Mama driving because her eyesight is getting a bit dim. So one of these days, we're actually going to have to take Mama's car keys away. That's not going to be fun.
Mm.
And I hope I survive the attempt. Because
Yeah,
while
I
Miss Sally has been very independent with her vehicles for the last more than 70 years, I think Mom's about 82 now. Um, but I'm beginning to worry about her even being able to run to the local grocery store or the local landfill to take the garbage off. I'm going to have to assume the duty of going over there and driving her wherever she needs to go. Not that my sister or my brother wouldn't gladly take up that, but uh, my brother's always working and my sister's further away. So it's one of those things where I feel like I need to step up to the plate.
yeah, I was very proud of my mother. She went down on her 80th birthday, got a driver's license renewed, came home and said, "I'm selling my van. Do you want to be my driver?" And I'm like, "I could do that."
Yep. And the weird thing is, because of the family farm, there's more than just Mom's Yukon. There's the pickup truck. Uh, my little brother seems to have laid claim to the to the family tractor, the one that was left when Dad retired from farming. We had three at one time, only one left now, and he's going to have to keep that thing in good repair because he really needs it over on his part of the family farm. He's got his wife and he have built a house on the back end of the 68 acres of the family farm. The family home is on the front end of the 68 acres. There's about 10 or 11 acres that are in between uh, the patch where the family home is and the rest of the farm. And I have always wanted to buy that and just make it one continuous, like 80-acre piece and put up a fence all the way around it and dare anybody to come in that wasn't a UPS driver. But that doesn't seem like it's going to happen unless I win the lottery because the fellow that owns the piece that is in between the house and the farm is a multimillionaire that owns the local pharmacies, plural, in 2 or 3 different towns around here. So he going to take a hellacious bribe to let go of that land that he ain't using that otherwise might become McMansions. None of us want to see that, but then again, we're not farming anymore. The only real thing to keep off the market is the family home, Dad's machine shop, the barn, and my little brother's place on the far end of the farm. I don't know, but my sister and my brother's wife might be trying, eventually be trying to argue uh, my brother and I into letting housing developments go in there, which would, to my point of view, be an incredible shame because Mom and Dad worked really hard to give us that land, and to just turn around and sell it just for mere money don't sit well with me. But you know, I'm a little bit better financially off than my brother or sister, fractionally, mostly because of the retirement stuff that I had set up at work, not because I've made a bucket of money in my lifetime. Well, I have made a bucket of money in my lifetime, but it's all gone to pay for, you know, living and cars and houses and children. And I don't regret a minute of it or a dollar of it. I've gotten several musical instruments, a roof over my head, uh, a distinct lack of credit card debt or mortgage debt or car payments or things like that. I managed to raise a passel of kids as best I can, and now they're all old enough to be on their own, and got grandchildren and great grandchildren and great great grandchildren, and I think I've done pretty well trying to instill positive values to as many of them are willing to listen. And we'll keep trying with the younger ones, hoping that they catch on too. But I don't want to see 4011 million-dollar homes packed cheek to jowl on the property I used to mow hay on. Hello, Keisha. We see through the disguise. We know it's you. Uh, Somebody else say something, please. This endless monologue is really getting me depressed.
Well, I'm glad to see Donna didn't, pass out from high blood sugar with all the talk of the gooey butter cake. So,
Yes, and
Yeah.
thank you for that recipe. I'm going to send it off to my British friends and see uh, if they can try and stay out of jail by making it and selling it on the canals. But I don't know. Looking at the ingredients, that thing might be a lethal weapon right there. Just
oh, it is.
But so worth it.
Oh, yes.
sounds like it. I mean, I just read through it, the recipe, and I'm going, oh, I want one. But then, I've always had a death wish, so I owned a motorcycle and a dune buggy, so
Yeah, well,
nobody expected me to live this long.
I mean, it's what they call what a way to go. With a pound of sugar in your gut. Yeah. I haven't been too good these past few months anyway.
I can think of better ways, dear. No, not promises. I can just think of better ways.
Yeah.
What?
What?
What? Keisha, did you get robbed?
Oh, no.
They stole the haunted stick, didn't they? They're going to rue that day.
Everybody's okay, though, right?
I certainly hope so.
Good.
Oh, I am so very sorry, dear, that you're too nice a person for that to happen to, and you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Well, about every 3 years around here, we get a lot of that with people out in the country. Obviously, these places are watched, so they know when everybody's gone. And
that's
one
the
year
nice thing about neighbors.
we had a crew that was going up, and they took trucks up and would empty the frickin' house.
Oh, Lord. Stole a bunch of Dolores' stuff? Why would they steal baby toys and clothes? And did some really weird stuff. What? Stole her shoes. And your bag to go to the hospital for your next baby's birth. That's
Crying
just
out loud.
That's just my mind is boggled. Tore stuff off of the fridge,
All
not
of it?
out
Oh,
of the fridge.
man.
No, this was somebody who had a grudge. This is not just some random crime. This is somebody that changed out your record player. This was somebody you know.
Yeah.
This was personal. And I hate to say that because you've been through more than enough spooky stuff in your past.
I know I can think of one person who it might be.
Why would anyone steal a quail from an incubator? I mean, seriously. You got to have 20 or 30 of them to make a good meal. That's just cruelty to get one. Oh, and Facebook just alerted me that, well, StreamYard just alerted me it was time to start the show after 20 minutes. Took out a bag of fruit from the fridge and ate some of it and left it out to ruin. Yep. You've got a neighbor nearby that you should not trust.
Yep.
Mm, I'm thinking it's not a neighbor, but somebody a little closer to one of her children, shall we say.
Hmm. Okay. Now I remember. That is entirely possible. Did you call the cops and file a report? Left a bag of money and car keys sitting right next to the door. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this was not about a robbery. This was about upsetting you.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That's
And
why I'm thinking who I'm thinking.
um you did have the cops come out. There's nothing they can do. Yeah, I ran into that several times too. Could just about give them the name and the address of the person that broke into the house, and they go, "Well,
You
yeah,
still gotta have proof.
yeah, we're not going to look for proof. We're just going to go off and look for drunk drivers because that's where the money is for our." Took all the gaming controllers from around the house and left them in a line sitting on the kitchen table. This is not some joyriding kid that just stopped by the house on impulse. This is somebody you know.
Hmm.
Mm.
This is somebody that has a grudge against you. And actually, someone trying to stress you out enough to have a miscarriage with your baby. So, this is attempted murder.
Yep.
And no, I'm not over overstating the case. Thank you, Daniel. You're drunk as shit. Um, hey, I got to get to sleep sometime tonight. I got I got a busy weekend. Uh, no, this is somebody that has a serious mad on for you, and you probably already know exactly who it is. And
Yeah.
Donna seems to. So don't let the bastards wear you down. Stuff can be replaced, even if it's sentimental. It'll be harder to replace because of the sentiment, but mere physical things are mere physical things. And if you get upset, they'll think they've won something of some dubious distinction. Uh, Kind of reminds me of uh, one day I came home and found several boxes of books that I didn't have shelf space for, and comic books that I had been collecting that didn't have shelf space for anymore had been stolen. And I knew exactly who did it and reported it, and there was nothing the cops could do because It's a burglary. It's not worth their while. I wasn't rich and famous, so not worth their while. But karma has a way of coming back on people. Not
Mhm.
you, but the perpetrator of this nonsense. Oh.
I
You may not be aware of it, but I think Donna's got a good idea. So change all the locks and stuff around the house. Already bought Dolores new shoes, swimming suits, and yep, yep. Well, you're
Keep,
doing the best you can, and
keep in
you're not.
mind, dear, it might not be somebody who dislikes you.
Mhm.
That's not to say
Oh.
that your
Yeah.
husband might not have pissed somebody off. Not saying that he would, but
That would follow for whom I'm thinking of too. Just a little, shall we say, extra person in the life.
I had to deal with that myself in a very, very unpleasant way. Unpleasant for me, not for them. Um, and it was also very petty and meaningless and stupid.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
if
This
they'd just
person
gone
seems
on
to
with
be a
their
petty person.
lives, bipolar's no excuse, honey. Uh, believe me,
hmm
my wife and several of my friends are bipolar, and they are nice people that would give you the shirt off their back rather than take the clothes out of your closet.
And then
Uh,
there are those who don't take their meds and do
well,
stupid shit.
Lindsay's unmedicated, and she's still the nicest person you'd ever want to meet. It's just vindictiveness
Mhm.
for a perceived slight. Doesn't mean the slight actually ever happened. Just the person that is being vindictive thinks it has, or has some additional problem which allows them to think that harming somebody else is going to get even with the third party
Mhm.
who probably won't even notice. That that's a good idea. Whoa, that stuff's too stout to breathe.
Good.
Yep, that is a step in the right direction. And you know that no matter how far away your friends are, we are behind you 100%.
hmm
Um, I may be 14 hours away, but you're going to be in my thoughts. And your friends that are closer will be more than willing to do anything they can, as they always have done. And it goes back to karma. Whoever did this is looking for sometime down the road having it turn around and bite them in the butt.
Yeah, but sometimes it's a long way down the road.
And it's even worse the longer it's delayed. Oh, on a lighter note, baby should be here in about a week or a few days or sooner. You're not feeling any pains yet, though. I'm assuming. You've been through this before. You know what to expect. I mean, this is not your first child. Uh,
Yeah, but they don't all go the same.
well, no, none of them ever go exactly the same, but there's a general trend usually. Um, try and remain chill for the baby's sake. And oh, okay, dilated, but contractions are regular enough. Aren't regular enough. Okay. Yeah. I remember one lady I knew. She called the doctor when she got her first contraction for like her third child, and the nurse on the other end of the phone at the hospital was asking her how close are the contractions together, and the lady says, "Well, the last one is 20 years ago." Ah, the important thing is to keep a sense of humor. Um, oh dear.
No, I saw that movie and I said that ain't never happening to me. Went home and told mom you had the right idea with with me. Then my best friend in high school wanted me to be there in the delivery room with her, and I was like, no, you find someone else to do your Lamaze with. Don't
I
want to
still
see it.
want like 10 more. You so silly. I know you're young, honey, but you ain't that young. You will probably if you try for 10 more, you're probably going to wind up in a wheelchair or a box. I
Possibly a
know your
psychiatric,
health.
possibly a psychiatric ward, depending on how many toddlers are all running around at the same time.
Wait a minute. This is Keisha. The psychiatric ward is already looking for her and has been since before she had any children. Um, 31. You got time. Keisha, I'm sorry, but 12 children spaced how far apart? And you've already got the first two? No, this will be the
Well,
third. So you want 13
7.
total. Hey, with 6 you get egg roll. I mean, draw the line somewhere.
Well, you remember the book and the movie, Cheaper by the Dozen?
I've actually got
Not,
the book.
not in
So do
today's
I.
economy.
I've actually got the book,
So do I.
and you probably have to fill out a whole lot more government forms for them to be cheaper by the dozen. Oh, well, look at the average here. So 6 years for the first one, 5 years with the next. How many years with this one? You're so far with the two statistics provided. You're looking at 4.5 years in between. So 10 is probably a stretch, unless you're looking to be in the Guinness Book of World Records for the world's oldest mom to give birth right then. Lots of medication and surgery. Believe me, if I was going to father 10 children, I'd need lots of medication. I don't know about the surgery. I'd have to be severely medicated, and a whole lot richer. Um, and it only costs like $20,000 a year to have a kid nowadays. And that's supposed to cut off at age 18 when they get a job and move out. Oh. Well,
Okay, the oldest verified mother was only a couple days younger than 67. Oh my god.
yeah, really. I'm not that far off from that now. Of course, I'm not the right gender
Me
for that.
either.
Hey, Josh. Um,
Me either. I'm still not doing it.
well, to be honest, I've been a dad so many times now, I'm actually good at it. Um, don't know if I can afford it, but, you know, God willing and the creek don't rise. Uh,
That ain't counting having to carry that and go through all that.
hey, the woman's got the rough stuff. I mean, that's some serious labor there, not including the actual process of giving birth labor. Um, just having the baby and
Oof.
carrying it to term is
Hi.
hard work.
So, on another subject, we take
Now
care of
wait,
my what?
wait just a minute. Now
What?
Chris said she has triplets or more. She can get there quicker, and she says
Thanks, Chris.
the guys get the fun part. If you aren't getting the fun part too, hey,
Yeah.
that's it right there. If you're not getting the fun part too, it's got to be fun for everybody. And I'm not talking about the neighbors down the road that have thin walls, but they might enjoy that. I mean, people in apartment buildings seem to, because otherwise they would move to some place that has thicker walls.
That's just it. And then what comes at the end of the 9 months?
Yeah.
No.
25 years of putting up with somebody that
That too.
may or may not get it, depending on how much they are willing to pay attention.
Okay. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say you just saw her last comment.
Keisha, knowing you, if the neighbors can hear it, they probably got their binoculars out and they're watching.
okay.
And at least one of them's got a camera and it's going to show up on OnlyFriends or something, their account, not yours.
My.
Hello, Dawn. Oh, you get some sleep. You get some sleep. You've been busy and you've got a very active weekend planned. So you got to keep Michaela sane. Good luck with that. Mile down the road. Yeah. I'm not telling tales out of school. Mile.
Yeah.
That's close. That's real close.
Sometimes closer than you want.
What was that Crocus song, Screaming in the Night? Sometimes I know entirely too many music references. I'm sorry, people. Ah, comes in handy sometimes, though.
Well, you know how we take care of my friends' chickens and cats when they're on vacation?
Uh-huh.
Well, some of their chickens have been getting older and passed on to that great chicken heaven, so they had to replace some. Because her son has this thing for chickens.
I would have
And
rephrased that a little bit.
he
This
loves
is
his
not the green
chickens.
room. This is
No,
not
no,
the
no,
green
no,
room.
no, no, no. Nice childhood way. He loves chickens. Like some kids like dogs and some love cats. He likes chickens. And he wanted some fancier chickens this time.
Oh, okay.
So they went down and they got 3 new chickens to replace the old ones. The one's really funky looking. It's all black and it's got like a crown of feathers sticking out like that.
Oh, wow. I think I've seen pictures of that, but I can't remember the breed.
Um, and they got this one what they thought was a chicken.
What they thought was a chicken.
And they get it home, and her husband looks at it and is like, "That's not a chicken. It's a rock Cornish hen. That's
Oh,
not gonna
wow.
lay any. That's not gonna lay any eggs."
No. Well, maybe the size of microdots, but no.
So they don't know what they're gonna do with it. I told him I know what I'd do with it, but we couldn't tell Wyatt.
I totally concur. Yes, yes. I have a thing for chickens too. It's called a frying pan.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
we're not raising any. So Lord,
Well,
ooh, what it? Okay, Keisha, you got splaining to do. I don't understand that question. Uh, a Cornish hen is a teeny tiny but very fat bird that usually you see in packs of 2 in the grocery store in the freezer aisle. I have never actually seen them living.
well, evidently, even I mean, they haven't. They've only had it 2 or 3 weeks now, and it's already so fat it can barely stand up.
Oh, jeez.
Well, well, Keisha, I did cremate a couple of chicken breasts about a month ago, but I don't think that's exactly what you had
What
in
you're
mind.
thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do bury the ones that are pets, and I
Hmm.
don't raise the ones that I use for food because if they were pets, they would never be food. Not with
Oh,
me. I can't even go hunting. I got all the equipment. I got decades of training, and I can't hunt because I'm too soft hearted. And now into the world, and my family needed to eat. The deer population around here would rapidly decline. But
only if
other than
Susie
that,
was around to kill him for you.
hey, take Susie out. All I got to do is take her off the leash, and there. That's a buffalo. Why did you? It'll take us months to eat. Okay, okay, we'll have a party. Okay, down, Susie. Chill out. You've already killed it.
Apparently,
You don't have to skin it too.
they live out in the country, fortunately.
Yeah.
And whenever one of the chickens dies, her husband waits until the boys are gone, and then he throws the carcass in the gully behind the house.
That's not right.
Well, I mean, by then the chicken's too old to cook.
Good night, Dolores. Good night, Keisha.
Night, Keisha.
Good
Night,
night, Keisha.
Dolores.
Yeah. Yeah, but the game warden ain't. Um, you ever have to you ever have to cut you ever have to cover up what your cat did or the dog had my second oldest girl, she had an Akita mix that came home and coughed up an entire chicken. We don't know where the chicken came from because nobody around us within about half a mile had been raising chickens. But evidently, the dog had forgotten that if they were not cooked first, or at least defeathered, they would cause indigestion.
Mm-hmm.
I swear this dog was big enough to where if there'd been a snowstorm, I'd have built myself a sledge and got some leather out and made a harness and had this thing tow me to work on a dog sled. Because I had occasionally walk behind this dog, pulling on the leash, trying to keep from getting drugged through the dirt like I was on a skateboard. Big, strong dog. Absolutely lovely dog. Gentlest thing ever, unless you were a chicken running around in the yard. There are caveats, you know.
Always.
I often wondered if it actually was a chicken because we have pheasants running around wild in the woods, and the dog might have just gotten out. This is before we had the chain link fence. The dog might have just wandered out and caught a pheasant that was not paying attention. And after digestive juices had done a little bit of work, did not look like a pheasant anymore. It did look like an entire chicken. Thankfully, the dog recovered, even though the chicken never did. But archaeologists are going to have so much fun with my backyard. Wait a minute. That's in a coffin. Why is that in a coffin? That's not a person.
No, those are buried somewhere else on the farm.
Mom's rose bushes always need fertilizer.
Mm-hmm. No, we only had one animal that we ever had a problem with. Where we lived on the farm, we lived on a hill, and the river in the valley flooded every year. And one year, it got one of our cows.
Oh.
Swept it down.
And banged it around.
And it ended up in one of the turbines down in the dam. And caused a small electrical short out about half the town.
Yeah, I started to say I'm sure that was going to cause some kind of a blockage there.
And so the call went out as, does anybody know whose cow this was? And I'm like, no, we don't know.
Nobody knows. We got all of ours. We
Never
got
seen that one in my life.
nope. That's not one of my tags in its ear either. No.
Oh, fortunately, we didn't do that back then. Not until they went to the sale barn.
Well, I'll be right back. Lindsay is a good cook, and unfortunately, I have had a gracious surplusage of food today. And some of it might be through processing. So it might take me a while. I'm very
Okay.
sorry. But it's better than sitting here and suffering. Well, we'll just end that sentence right there.
Go ahead.
Yep.
I'll see y'all in a few. The microphone's staying here. So
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Oh,
I've missed being on this show.
we've missed you. We understand, you gotta work, but we missed you. We missed your shows.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to be able to get back to being able to do those again. I do enjoy doing those. The only reason why I'm even up this late is because we don't have much going on tomorrow, so.
Yeah. It's that season all over.
Yeah. And I
When
want it
the,
to end.
when the little orange flowers spring up all over the state.
Yeah. I'm just ready for this to be done so I can get away from this engineer.
But he's still up on 2 feet, right?
So far.
No cement shoes yet?
No, he's actually taking tomorrow off. And we have a concrete pour tomorrow, so that's probably for the best.
No hot tar and feathering?
Yeah, he hasn't been brave enough to really show up when we have the paving machine out. So.
He's smarter than he seems, huh?
So far.
I don't miss working at all.
Yeah, it wouldn't be so bad if he didn't argue about every little bitty thing. And then when you do prove him wrong, he just goes, "Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. You have the same spec book I do. What? Why?"
Yeah. I had a manager like that once. Way back when I worked at the flower shop. One day he informed me that I was just a secretary. I needed to do secretary stuff.
Oh.
Okay. So I got the book. We were SCI, Service Corporation International, had taken over at that time, and they had this book this thick with job descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
So I turned and I go, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do as secretary. All right. Which meant as accounts receivable bookkeeper that I was also no checking accounts, no okaying accounts, no running the credit cards. Oh, no calling the FTDs. I just did my little secretary stuff with my letters and stuff, and he comes flying over. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "You told me I was just a secretary. I'm doing secretary stuff." "But what about this?" I said, "Nope. I can show you in the book. I'm not supposed to be doing that because I'm just a secretary."
I love
Yeah.
malicious compliance.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, he he was an idiot. He didn't know how to run a full service flower shop, and yet there he was stuck with it until they could get a manager in. And then the weekend when the shop was broken into, I had to leave early because the woman who was my second mother had passed on, and I said, "I don't care if it's Easter weekend. I've got family stuff. I'm going." Told the little gal who I was training as my aide in the office what to do, and left. And came back Monday to find it had been broken into. So I took the money that I hid and I deposited about $5,000. Worked it out, they'd only stolen about 600 because she hadn't done what I told her to do. But according to the rule book, I had to deposit all of that, which meant I had no money for the cash drawer.
Oh no.
And being Monday morning, I knew I was having a gentleman come in at 10 o'clock to order a dozen roses, which at the time was only $25, and give me a $100 bill. He did this every Monday morning. So I go and tell him, I need him to get me some change for the cash register. And he says, "You'll have to just deal with what comes in and use that as change." And I'm like, I'm not going to have change for a $100 bill by 10 o'clock on a Monday morning. So I called corporate down in Houston, who called him. And he wasn't very happy, but he came over with a check for me to go down to the bank and get some cash money for the drawers. And I'm like, if so-and-so had done what I told her to do, we wouldn't have had this problem. Did I get thank you? Nope. For all the money I saved him? Nope. I was foolish and expected him to turn in my application for manager. And
Why? You'd have been better at it than him. Why should he turn it in and threaten his job?
Because there was chain of command crap. Yeah. They ended up hiring somebody and moving her in from Iowa, and I'm like, here's my 2-week notice. He made me surrender my keys to the building, and he made me sit in the kitchen, which was our break room, for those 2 weeks. I could not talk to anybody about the business. I could not answer questions about the business. The little gal that I was training to help me in the office, she didn't know shit. And so she'd come in and I'm sorry, I can't tell you.
So basically, he cut his own throat.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And happened to run into the 2 supervisors from Chicago who were in. They always went out to this particular restaurant because it's a great restaurant that I introduced them to. And they were very happy to see me, shook my hand and said, we were very surprised that you didn't apply to be manager because we were ready to give it to you.
You tell them
Really?
you did?
I said I handed my application to you know who. Oh, I don't care who knows. His name's Mike Orthmet. He's an asshole.
Most assholes had names.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, we never received it. And I said, well, too bad. I'm with Kelly Temporary now, and they're paying me 3 times what you guys paid me.
And you can train your own people.
Actually, that's what I did. I tested out so well in on the numbers and the number pad and typing that they created level 4 for me, and I was sent to whenever they had a new client, I was sent to impress them. So Kelly Temporary treated me very well while I was with them.
I was, and still am, actually, friends with the daughter of one of the founders of the Kelly Girls in Atlanta.
Yeah, they're originally from there.
Absolutely fabulous people. I met not only the one that I was friends with in college, but I briefly met, I think, one of her sisters. I don't think I met her father, who was the
Hmm.
grand conundrum. Um, at this number of years away, I could be wrong, and maybe I did briefly once. I did meet a lot of folks who were um, parents of college friends because I had access to a truck and helped people move a lot, and haven't the faintest idea, but look up um, on Facebook Chef Christie and Mrs. Santa Claus. Same person, but this is one of my dearest friends from back in my college days, and she is not only a highly trained chef, but she's just so much fun to be around.
Well,
Seriously.
when I went in to test, of course, going in for secretary, I had to do the typing test and the number pad, and I'm sitting there waiting for the results. And she comes in and she says, I'm not accusing you of cheating because there's no way you can. But would you mind repeating this while I'm sitting here watching? And I'm like, okay. 136 words per minute with a 99%. Uh, I didn't make any. I didn't make a lot of errors. 99% accuracy.
And no wonder you've got 30 to 50 unpublished books stashed someplace.
And she's like, and watching me do it, and she just shook her head and she says, you've got to work for us. You've got to work for us. However, we don't have a place for you. We're going to have to make one. And that's when they created level 4. Now, there's level 4s all over now. But I was the very first one, at least here in the area. But she's like, how did you learn to type that fast? And I'm like, I learned on an old-fashioned typewriter. The kind that you had to really push down to type on.
Mm-hmm.
I think my it was only like 60 words per minute on that thing. But after typing on that, and then going to an electric typewriter, and then going to the computer. The computer was is I mean, it's nothing.
Yeah, really. You just kind of lean your finger over and hit the next
Hmm.
key.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
especially when you're a touch typist.
Now that's something I've never been able to master, although I have tried and tried and tried. Um, Now for data entry stuff, that's alphanumeric.
Hmm.
I had people in the company come and watch me do what I do, and basically mouse with my left hand, number pad, and keyboard with my right. And they're going, "You're using both hands at the same time. How do you do this?" And I go, "I'm dyslexic. I can't tell.
Yeah.
It's all one hand to me." It's and still when I'm typing, it's like it's not 10 finger touch typing. It's um, 3 fingers and a thumb on one hand and 2 fingers and a thumb on the other hand. And that's leaving out the mouse entirely. But th- to see the look on somebody's face when I highlight something with the mouse in my left hand and Control C, Alt C, copy with the left hand, and then click with the mouse and go paste number, not format, and then do the number pad with my right hand, and they're going, "We've never seen anybody do that before." And I just go,
I imagine it is, Chris.
there's never been anybody like me before. Get used to it." Um, and still I didn't get a pay raise, but
Yeah.
it's all right.
Well, about nine
Um,
9 months after I quit the florist, we had to go to a visitation, and Work Vet was there, and he spies me across the room and gives me this lights up like he's seen his best friend in the whole world. Big smile. He comes over to shake my hand, and I just look at him. And I go, I'm not being paid to be nice to you anymore. Turn around and walked away,
uh-huh.
which was a lot nicer than I what I really wanted to say and do.
Well, the thing is, when they realize you are only being nice because you're getting paid to be,
Hmm.
ego drops points
Hmm.
rapidly, especially if theirs is so high they think that there's no way that anybody could ever disagree with anything. Excuse me.
Hmm.
If you're a brainless idiot, I'm going to tell you so up front, in close, in person, in no uncertain terms, and continue to do my job. And I don't care what you think. I really don't. Your ego is nothing to do with me. I do my job, I do it well, and you can either profit by it or you can hamstring yourself. It's up to you. I have no dog in this hunt.
Hmm.
I don't care. Behold this field in which I grow my.
It plays fallow.
It is fallow indeed.
Yeah, he ran for coroner, and he was in the same political party as a friend of ours who was running for local representative. And of course, we put her political sign in our yard, and she asked if I minded putting this other person's in, and I was going to vote for this other person anyway. So I'm like, sure, she can. But let me cut to the chase. You can put anybody in your party's sign in my yard except for his. And if I see his in my yard, it will be torn down. And he was within hearing distance, and I really didn't give a care.
Mm-hmm.
And he lost.
Well, of course. That's the thing about politics. You have to make enough public appearances to where people can tell whether or not you're a jerk or a decent person right off the bat. And they're not going to vote for a jerk.
Well, especially not when the person you're up against has a bunch of medical degrees in forensics, in there's a special field that basically means she does autopsies really well.
Yeah. So
And I
this
can't
was
think of it.
a county coroner position,
Mm-hmm.
if I remember correctly. Yeah. If you've got somebody supremely qualified that you're running against, and you don't have the personality to distract people from their qualifications,
And
you can lose.
your thing is telling people she's not qualified. I'm like,
That
that's not too smart, because
no, that just comes across to the people that actually can tell the differences as being uh, petty and cruel,
mm-hmm.
and people can see through that.
And she just didn't respond to that, which I thought was mighty high character of that. She just ran on her laurels, which
Her
were plenty.
qualifications and her abilities. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Uh, and I can't think of very many instances where there was not a political machine pushing the inadequate candidate over the exceptionally qualified candidate, where people would fail to see the qualifications rather than the what is the correct power play?
Yeah.
Something like that. Forgive me, I'm extremely cynical, and I would say I don't suffer fools gladly, but I know Joe Doug, so nobody is going to.
Well, there's always an exception to the rule. What can I say?
He's so precious, I swear. No, and I really should not pick on Joe Dog because he doesn't deserve for me to be picking on him whatsoever. Wonderful fellow, absolutely works his ass off, and uh, he's got his priorities straight as to everything he wants to accomplish in life, and he's nailing each rung of the ladder on the way. Even if he has to build the scaffolding to do it. And he doesn't mind working his ass off to get that done.
I'm sorry.
This is some good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening. I'm just watching the cats down the hallway. Evidently, she didn't like the fact that he was asleep.
Well, I mean, it happens to everybody eventually. Oh, and Donna, I know you had this before. This is the coffee kraken.
Good stuff, isn't it?
I had no idea it tasted this good.
Mm-hmm. Try some rum chat in that. Not a lot though.
No, thank you.
Well, you have to
I
remember too the size of the glass that I two glasses that I had that night.
um, you might not be able to tell, but this is about a quart. Um, no, it's about a fifth. Um, Lynchy just said, you know, there's going to be an open bar at this thing for your brother this weekend. I go, yeah, and it's going to be a pay bar. We're going to have to go by the liquor store and get some stuff for the weekend. She goes, you'll be with your mother. And I just looked at her and I go, can you think of a better reason for me to have to buy 2 quarts of liquor? I love my mother, but hey,
Yeah.
you know me. Imagine how crazy my parents were. Um,
No comment. No comment.
Mom's really, really cool. She really is. She's very old school though.
My mama wasn't.
Well, in Mom's case, old school is uh the Great Depression and World War II, and
As with my mom.
she grew up in a coal mining camp in Kentucky. Company store and everything. So
Yeah. My mother's father had been a coal miner. Got black lung before he was 30. Spent the rest of his life on wintergreen mints and baby food.
mm, black one, black lung is what got my mom's dad, but he was 62 before it finally uh, took over completely. The rest of the time, absolutely delightful little man. Uh, he had to have been Welsh, or at least mostly Welsh in his heritage from across the pond in the immigrants who he was descended from. I mean, just absolutely 5'6" maybe at the
Mm.
most. Um, could outwork a half a dozen mules. Um, had beehives for fun. I mean, seriously. Oh, I wanna raise something that'll sting me until I'm almost dead, just so I can get some honey on my biscuits.
Grandpa Miller was black Irish and French. He was a randy little dude, maybe 5 foot. He only weighed a pound when he was born,
Mm.
and he never got much bigger. I think he was in his 90s when he died.
One of Lindsay's ancestors that
Yeah.
they thought was not going to survive being born. So after he was born, they laid him on the hearth and soaked a handkerchief in liquor and put a corner of it in his mouth, and he dried that damn handkerchief out and lived for about 80 more years.
Who says booze will kill you?
Well, it will. Just thankfully, in most cases, very slowly. And lead you to make the most astounding mistakes that turn out to be blessings,
Well, like I say,
but
Grandpa
only in retrospect.
Grandpa had got black lung before he was 30. um, my mom was a change of life baby. And when she was in her mid 70s, Grandma turned to my mom and said, "Your father's slowing down. It's only 3 times a week now." Not sure if it was the Irish or the French, but he was a randy little feller.
I think it was just male. Not the green room, damn. Shut up, damn. Not the green room. Details are forthcoming in the autobiography that will be published after my death. So you've only got 150 more years to wait. Unless they invent booster spice, in which case that'll never be published. Not unless I run across some female Kazenti that's really pissed because I won't take her on a date to an expensive restaurant. So Larry Niven will get that joke. Nobody else will. Well, maybe 4 Larry Niven fans will get that joke. I'm glad it was a joke. I'm seriously glad it was a joke.
Well, I used to tell all my guys, I'm easy, I'm just not cheap. Poor Joe.
It's the latest I've been up in a while. I'll probably still wake up at 4:30.
It doesn't matter. I've got my alarm clock still set to go off at 6 because tomorrow would have been a normal work day if I hadn't taken it as a vacation day. But Lindsay and I have loads of stuff we have
I
to
was
do.
going to say, you got lots to do. It's going to take you all day.
Have to take the trash off. Have to go and do a little bit of grocery shopping. Have to pack. Have to finalize everything. Try and reduce what's already been packed into smaller containers because we're not taking our van, so we can't just fill it up because there's going to be lots and lots of other folks' luggage in there. So, and our luggage is basically 30-gallon Tupperware. So, hey, it works, and we can see what's inside. So
I told Carl I found the suitcase that we need when we go to Germany.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if they'll let you use big Tupperware for your carry-on luggage or your shipped luggage.
No. This is from a place called Solgard, and it's small enough that it will go. It's as carry-on, but when you open it up, it extends out, and you can pack 10 days worth of clothes in there. And you don't have to dig for it because it's got little compartments for everything.
That reminds me of I believe it was the 1920s, or was it even 1900s? It might have been 1880s. Um, Not shipping crate, but
The trunks.
luggage. Yeah, the luggage trunk.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one that I have seen, and it's exactly period. You would undo the latches and open it out, and then undo all the unfolding sections, and it was basically a huge wardrobe
Mm-hmm.
inside, packed into this little bitty steamer trunk. Well, little bitty, size of
Mm-hmm.
a army footlocker, basically, and everything was just right there. Clothes were neatly hung. Uh, Lots and lots of drawers for socks and underwear and whatnot. Um, a Set on a stove, iron with an ironing board. Uh, so you set the iron on the stove, put water in it. You got a steam iron, but it is heated by the 1900s, either coal powered or gas powered stove in your stateroom.
Mm-hmm.
And oh Lord, there's more bells and whistles to this thing than there are in a very florid murder mystery book by somebody that never got caught on in the uh, late 1800s, early 1900s British Mystery Writing Guild.
Mm-hmm. Well, except for the ironing board, this is the same idea, but when you close it all up, it's small enough to be your carry-on. Because
Whoa.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So
and it
there
will
it
fit in the
definitely
overhand carriage.
there's definitely some creative packaging involved in that. In the folding and the drawers and whatnot. Um, but it's the same principle. It's just updated to the modern
Mm-hmm.
era, isn't
They're
it?
just up, yeah, and yeah, because we are not going to check luggage. We're going to take what we can do in a carry-on. We're not going to take any toothpaste or anything like that. We're going to buy that all over there because we don't want
Oh
to have
yeah,
to carry
you
those
can
little bottles things.
get all that in the airport before you
Hmm.
exit the security area into the
Hmm.
main area.
Exactly.
Most of the airports over there are amazing. You could pretty much just
Live.
live on the inside of the security barriers inside most of the international airports in England or anywhere in Europe.
Well, didn't that
And
one guy do that in?
there was one guy that wasn't allowed to leave an airport in France.
I was.
I think it was Paris, but I could be wrong. Please feel free to correct me if you
I
have.
can't remember which one.
Yeah, if you remember more exactly than I do, but this guy got over there, and all of a sudden, his passport was no longer valid to exit the airport. So he stayed in the airport for like 30 years.
No.
I
And
could
one.
see that. I mean, and
Yeah.
this is without a hotel room. Just sleeping in the lounge chairs and whatnot that's scattered all around inside the security area because he wasn't allowed to check out through the outside security and leave. Um, I don't remember the guy's story. I don't remember all the details. I could be wrong on any of this. I would be very glad to be corrected if
Hmm?
anybody's got more information than my piss poor memory can dig up. Um, there's also a guy from a country that never existed. His passport listed countries and destinations that did not appear on any map, but it was still a valid passport. Security restrained him in a very gently, they just locked him up in one of their little secure areas. When they went to pick him up behind a locked door, he was no longer there anymore. And his luggage that was uh, stored at a very separate location was no longer there anymore. That is a marvelous alternate timeline uh,
You gotta suggest
modern myth,
Carl.
I do believe I would say. Uh,
He could do that right after his spy move story.
yeah. Um, and actually, okay. Let me see if I can. The man from Torrid. If you can remember that and tell him about it. Uh, I think it's
So he'll be watching this
Taurad.
tomorrow.
Yep.
He'll, he
But
can yell
I
he can
don't
yell
want
at
to.
me then.
I don't want to distract him because I want that spy story. I really do. More than I want the sequel to the Mad Gasser, which I think I've already got. But I want Carl's take on the Tamanshud mystery. The guy there, the dead guy on the beach. I want to see what Carl turns it into because
Should be interesting.
it's already interesting. It should be fantastic. Um, I'm so lucky. I know so many absolutely amazing writers, and I may die before I get everybody's books written or read. I may die before I get all my books written. Um, I haven't left copious notes. Somebody's going to have to make shit up as they go along with it, try and finish my unfinished work. Uh, but I don't intend to check out for another long time.
That's
So
good. No, we've done our research and we didn't choose Viking Cruise Line just because it was Viking. Um,
I imagine you were really pissed that they wouldn't let you loot and pillage the villages as you went past.
we'll have to see about that. But there,
Unit will have something to say. You should behave yourself, young lady.
I always behave myself. It's just what you consider behaving. They are geared toward older people. So the tours, I'm not going to have to worry about trying to keep up with some young, sprightly tour guide. Um, they don't have the fancy sit down suppers, so not going to have to worry about being dressed appropriately.
Yeah.
Unlike some cruise lines, they don't nickel and dime you. Some you'll get on there and you'll find out, oh, you've got to pay for your drinks, or you've got to pay for your alcohol. Um,
Why do you think my luggage weighs 2,000 pounds?
They don't do that. So
Um,
hopefully in about 5 years.
would that include in one of the voyages? Would that include a dinner at the captain's table so he can get to know you as he would get to know all the other customers on the boat?
I don't know. It doesn't bring that up.
It doesn't say.
Yep. But I
That
wouldn't,
that could
be
be both
surprised.
exciting and an object of dread at the same time.
Mm.
Um, I would probably myself find it dreadful, but I do know some people that they're so socially outgoing that they would think it's the greatest thing since Betty White, and she's the
Have
you
you met
know
my husband?
yeah. Well, he thinks that Betty White's the greatest thing before sliced bread. So
Well, yeah, but when it comes to talking to other people,
oh no, I don't think he could talk to anybody. He's just a wallflower. He just clam up. He couldn't say anything. He'd just
you
be
know how
silly
he
face.
hates people.
No, yes. And so uncommunicative.
But
Damn,
yeah,
I accidentally said that correctly. Whoa!
but yeah,
I'm gonna have to celebrate being able to pronunciate that one. Um,
but
yes,
yeah,
I was a fan of Flip Wilson back in the '60s.
who
Uh,
wasn't?
the Church of What's Happening Here and Now.
But yeah, just need to get the credit card debt down a little bit
Oh,
because
okay.
when we go, we're going at least business class on the plane, so there'll be plenty of room.
Hmm.
And we've already got our cabin picked out on the ship.
Oh, the credit card I'm using for the hotel this weekend, just this week, I got the debt down to under $900.
Congrats.
Very nice.
Hey, I keep I keep paying them off, and then I keep using them. Um, the one card now has under $900 debt. The other one has under 1,100. So, considering how long I've had them both and how many hundreds of thousands of dollars I have paid because I charged, you know, stuff for the house, uh, new refrigerators, uh, just whatever, and
Just
hotel
silly
room.
things like that.
Silly things like, I need a refrigerator. Okay, we'll put it on this card. I need a stove. Okay, we'll put it on this card. I need an air conditioner. Okay, we'll put it on these three cards. Um, now, mm, the the air conditioner we have in the bedroom at the moment is one of those, not a window unit. It's standalone, but has its exhaust valve through the window.
Hmm.
And it has a bad habit of turning itself into a dehumidifier if you turn it on and you are not looking at the lights. Unfortunately, its water pail got full and it would not run anymore. So today, Lindsay and I had to empty this water pail out. It amounted to about 2 Dixie cups worth of water, and it shut the entire unit off because, dude, there wasn't even a pint, much less a quart of water, shut off the entire air conditioner because it refuses
Ooh,
to stay on air conditioner when you turn it on. Sometimes it'll go to dehumidifier and fill up its.
well, at least it turned it off. I've known others that have just overflowed.
Well, and this one, it's made to have a hose running out of the back of it and drill a hole in the floor and run it outside the house and
Hmm.
drip outside. But it's the entire capacity of its water tank is basically about a pint. And I'm going, why is this useful? Why is this an option? Why does it not stay on air conditioner instead of dehumidifier? And then I realized it's because you're supposed to pay somebody to come out and run a line to drain the dehumidifier outside the house. Sorry, I'm too cheap for that shit. I could do it myself, but I'm also too lazy for that shit. So every 2 years, I will pick it up and drain a pint of water out of it when it won't cool anymore because it's full of 2 test tubes of water. Um, I've raised 2-year-olds with larger bladders than this thing is. At least they can sleep all night without wetting the bed. Ah, jeez. This thing is. I mean, I'm gonna have. No, I don't care. I started to say I'm going to have it X-rayed so I know exactly what's inside of it, but because the owner's manual doesn't show. But no, I don't care. I don't care. It cost me less than a week's pay. It's already lasted 5 years. Only had to empty it once. Um, I'm 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 looking for a downside and I don't see one. Uh, Need to replace it? Go back to Ollie's and buy some army surplus shit. So
Oh, we've got one of those up here in Champaign now.
they are okay. You ever been in one of those stores where it's like fire sale salvage from other places?
Yeah.
That's basically what Ollie's is. You go there if you see something you want. Don't make the mistake
I,
of thinking it's going to be there next week.
yeah,
You
get
e-
it then.
you either get it then or check it off your list as this is a missed opportunity because they don't even know what their inventory is going to be from week to week. There's a lot of good stuff there. There's a lot of not quite good enough to be in the dollar store stuff there. And there's some happy accidents of this is some high quality stuff they've got a hold of here. I'll take 2, please. It's that variable thing. It reminds me of a place in Clinton, Tennessee. It was basically before Ollie's, before uh, Well, hell, it predates the existence of dollar stores. It's basically a fire sale place.
Mm-hmm.
They would go out and buy all the stock of any place that was either going out of business or caught fire. And it would be marked down to absolutely insane levels of cheapness. You could get an electric guitar for $50.
Go goodness.
You could get a complete set of underwear, socks, sweatshirt, sweatpants, work pants,
Night,
basically
Chris.
6 months worth of clothes for about $20 in the 60s when $20 was a lot of money. Good night, Chris. I'm sorry I've been talking so much. Look, it's my show. Well, nobody tunes in to see me. They all tune in to see Donna.
Those poor guys.
That's why I'm here.
Oh, you sweetie.
No.
What? It's almost time.
Hey, we got 14 minutes.
And there he
And
goes.
he just kicked himself out. All right. Let's bring out the hookers and blow. Oh, Dane's back.
Dang.
Please, I'm paying for the hookers and blow. Don't do it without me. It's my show, dude. I hit the exit button while I was trying to stretch my arm and get some more circulation back in my hand here. And this is my left hand, not the dominant one. Don't go there.
Yeah, but you're dyslexic and ambidextrous, so I can go there.
You have to get my wife's permission before we go there. Not the green room, not the green room, not the green room. Smart ass remark. Shut up, Daniel. Keep digging, keep digging. The hole will end soon. There will be egg rolls at the other end, and maybe mushu pork.
Crab rangoon?
With
You
my
guys are
luck,
talking my language.
with my luck, I'd wind up at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, a long way away from a Chinese restaurant. Damn, there was something musical I was thinking of the other day, and I was thinking I should do that. I should write that, and now I can't remember what it was, but it was the the bottom end of it was very, very basic. The middle was a little exploratory, and the top end of it was kind of wow. And wowism being, I didn't know I could do that with this thing, but and now I can't remember what the hell the bass line was that led to it, or the drums. It'll come back to me one of these days. That's one thing that I've got confidence in. If I think of something I want to do, and then get distracted, sooner or later it'll pop back in my head, and I better take notes.
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah. Well, still got the the fantasy story to finish, the cover for the fantasy story to paint. I'm looking forward to that. I haven't done an oil painting in 20 years, if not longer. I miss that. I miss that. I miss the freedom of sitting there with the palette and the paint and mixing up exactly the color I need and going, okay, now I got to mix another color. I made that brush mark. Um, it's one of those things where you give your imagination room to take over and your
Mm-hmm.
inspiration room to find new stuff that you never thought of before and try and get the two to mesh together into something you're actually proud to sign your name on. Uh, when that happens, it's magic. It's like for Joe, pages coming together once you've been writing the code. For Donna, it's like the absolute perfect scene for a story, just there, full blown, and all you've got to do is take dictation from the characters. Uh,
I hope they're speaking to you.
for Chris, it's showing up at Hallowcon with 2 dozen pickled eggs for Joe Dog and knowing that you're going to be a quarter mile away when those things go off.
As long as you take me with him.
Practical jokes are an art form, especially when the delivery medium is somebody else.
Yeah.
Oh, sometimes I despair that I am the moral individual that I believe that I am, and then I look at everything I've done over my life and I go, "Got you suckers fooled." Um,
Yeah.
ah,
Honey, you don't have me fooled in the least.
is it hot in here? Is it just Donna? Ah,
Both.
did I say that out loud?
Mm-hmm.
Damn it.
Yeah, you can't help yourself when you're in the presence of greatness. What can I say?
Mm,
Humble, too.
I'm not saying a word about humble pie. No, nope, not me, not me. You can use your own imagination, folks. No, 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 nope, not going there. Uh, Lindsay better not try and interrupt me tomorrow night. I'll sleep when I'm dead, and not while I'm driving. Okay. Ah,
Yes, let's
thank
not
you,
do that.
thank you, Warren Zevon. Um, Oh, that's weird. Now I want to praise Warren Zevon because he was such a fantastic writer. His lyrics were thought provoking and sick and twisted and a lot of fun. Sort of like Frank Zappa, but more polite. Um, oh, Lord. Now I'm looking like a fool. I should just shut up and say goodnight, Gracie.
Is it
Uh,
time?
well, we got
We got
6
8
minutes.
minutes. 6 minutes?
Something like that. All right. Joe, what's going on with Behind the Code, Burning is Love, and Independent Creators Directory that you can talk about now?
So right now the two shows are kind of on hiatus due to work. Um, Independent Creators Directory, we actually just had someone new sign up from Grant's show.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
Fawn, I think was her name.
Yeah. Don't
She
ask
ended
me to pronounce her last name.
uh,
Shizmika or something like that.
sure, but she is on the Independent Creators Directory now. I actually just wrapped up doing her page tonight while on Stupid O'clock. Um, and I am going through programming tutorials for game engine called Godot that does
Which you're
mostly.
still waiting on.
What's that?
Which you're still waiting on.
But I've gotten to a point where I can probably, once Nick does the sprites for it, I can probably start doing a basic level 0 mock up
Okay,
of a
sounds
top down
interesting.
2D game. And that's pretty much it.
Donna, you got any shows you're going to in the near future or books coming out in the near future?
um, well, Unknown Strangers, the fifth in the uh, Hunter's Ridge series just came out. So the next one will be Bethan Hills in November. The first one we have is Silcon in Effingham, September 18th, I think it is.
Oh, that's my anniversary at work. That was my hire date, September 18th. I will start my 46th year.
Well, this will be interesting. This is going to be the first time that Silcon will be down in Effingham, Illinois.
Where's
Uh,
it usually then?
Mattoon, Illinois, where the Mad Gasser,
Okay.
the original Mad Gasser was from.
I can see after Carl's books came out, they wanted to do a change of venue. Um,
Um, no, the hot dog stand, I should say the sandwich stand in the mall complained because they said there were too many people in front of their place and nobody could see or get to them.
so
Um,
basically, you were selling books and they weren't selling hot dogs.
Trust me, they were selling a lot of stuff. I know that both Carl and I had lunch and supper there. Uh, Everybody that I know had at least lunch there, and the that was just the vendors. That's not counting anybody just walking by. So I don't know what their beef was.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
A couple times I walked by, and yeah, there were plenty of people standing in front of it in line to get stuff. I don't know. Anyway, that was the reason for the departure from the mall there. When another mall, and there's also a car show that weekend in Effingham. Uh, in the parking lot of the same mall that we're going to be in. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out.
Well, good luck. Wish
Thank
you
you.
all the best. And everyone around as well, because the more people that have successes in that particular venue, the more likely it is that the venue will catch on and become something more regular.
Hmm.
And I'm quite sorry to hear that the food vendor was unhappy about having tons of people as
Yeah,
prospective customers instead of, oh, yeah, well, we're not selling their books. We're just selling hot dogs, okay? Um, never can tell with some people. It's like
now,
Yeah.
occasionally you get somebody
yeah,
that somebody else's success translates to their mind as their failure.
hmm
Even when you're in a non-competing uh,
now
sort of venue.
Silcon is still having their vendors stay at the hotel in Mat 2 that they usually stay at a reduced rate. Uh, I guess they couldn't get into a hotel down in Effingham, or probably not for the rate they wanted, due to the car show and everybody being booked up. Uh, we don't like the looks of that place, so we always stayed in the Hampton.
Mm.
So we have a room in the Hampton down in Effingham.
It's hard to go wrong with the Hampton. It really
Yeah,
is. It's not the absolute greatest thing in the world, but it's always pretty good.
consistent. It's consistent.
Uh, it's
And while we're in Effingham, we'll go eat at the Mad Goat. So that's a plus.
hey, it's good to have these pluses around.
Ooh, especially one as good as the Mad Goat.
Um, as for myself, uh, not gonna make it to LibertyCon next month or the end of this month. Forget which. We're hoping that next year will be much easier because my wife is has been asked to join the green room staff, so we should be able to book our rooms earlier than uh, we would have if we were just uh, me as an attending provider.
Hmm
Um However, I will say this: LibertyCon is always a great show, and it's always one of the best places to be. And that is why it is so difficult to get memberships and rooms, even though they've raised the number of memberships and increased the size of the room block. It's just become that absolutely awesome. And this will be the 34th or 35th year for LibertyCon. Uncle Timmy established it years ago. With his passing, it was inherited by his daughter Brandy. She knows the ins. She was raised running this con, so she knows the ins and outs and everything. It's just awesome, absolutely awesome. If you get a chance to go, please do. You will love it. It's basically it's a horribly extended family reunion, and horribly meaning very largely extended. Not it's kind of it's good. It's really good. It's going to be good. It's going to keep being good. So get your due diligence in order. And if you're in the Chattanooga area or driving distance, or even flying distance because one of my friends is going to be coming from Australia this year. He's going to be there, and I'm very sorry that I'm going to miss him. Um, I'm very sorry I'm going to be missing everybody. Feel like I'm letting them down because I can't be there this year, but our memberships have rolled over. We'll probably be able to have a better chance to get a room for next year. Hopefully, Lindsay does not have a absolutely terrible time, and she will want to go back. I will keep going back as often as I possibly can, even if Lindsay is going. I'm going to retire from going to conventions. Hallowcon in October.
Yay!
If you have not been there, I don't know. I lack the words to describe how wonderful it is. Just do it. Go. It's affordable. It's entertaining. It's another Relaxicon that feels like a family reunion. And
You want to know how great Hallowcon is?
yes, I do. Tell me how great Hallowcon is.
Hallowcon is so great that Carl was reluctant to go the first time, would only stay for 2 days the first time, and on the way back home said, next year we're going from Friday to Monday. That's how enjoyable Hallowcon is.
You keep working on him, and he'll turn it into Thursday to Monday, and we'll really rock on. Because that way, no matter how long a drive you've got on the Thursday, you're fully rested by Friday morning before anything can start. And you go through the entire experience, and then you're there for the after party, the dead dog, as it is called. And then Monday, you go, oh God, I'm going to go home. I don't want to go home. I want to stay here. Well, you can't stay here. Don't necessarily have to go home, but you can't stay here. Gotta leave the hotel.
That's time to say goodnight, Gracie.
Yeah, it is. I hate to do that.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, we're already 8 minutes over, which is normal for us because I talk a lot. Thank you both for being here with me. Thank everybody who was here in the comments. Thank you, Carl, for watching tomorrow and leaving snarky comments. I look forward to going, what the hell is he talking about? Oh, yeah, now I know what he's talking about. Pardon my blushes. All right, folks, it's time to tell the bedtime story. Good night, Donna. Good night, Joe. Good night, Mrs. McGillicuddy, wherever you are. Oh, God, that shows my age.
It sure does.
And with that, we
Night, guys.
shall...
Good night.
We'll explore the wide and wonderful universe. And then go home in time for breakfast. Good night.
Transmission overload.
System will shut down. shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down.